Well, it's been a couple days since Justin Trudeau and his finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, introduced the budget. Taxes are up, including carbon taxes. Justin Trudeau is absolutely set on that. Capital gains taxes and other things. Basically, as various former Liberal finance officials have said, it's the most brutal budget in 40 years. It's a tough one for Liberal proxies around the country to sell. Let me show you what the Calgary mayor, who is a Liberal by every measure, even if she's not officially a Liberal mayor, listen to her talk about life when houses are no longer affordable for the ordinary person. Take a look.
So we're starting to see a segment of the population reject this idea of owning a home, and they're moving towards rental because it gives them more freedom. They can travel to different places. They can try out different communities. Their job may take them from place to place. And so people have become much more liberated around what housing looks like and what the tenure of housing looks like. But as municipalities, we haven't kept pace with that change. We're still stuck in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
You know what? The World Economic Forum said it a lot briefer when they said you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Joining us now from Edmonton is our friend Lorne Gunter, senior columnist at the Edmonton Sun. Lorne, I'm not sure if it's true that people are rejecting home ownership. I think it's sort of the other way around. People are not qualifying for home ownership. They cannot afford home ownership because prices are high, mortgage rates are high. Prices are rising faster than incomes are rising. I think she's trying to pretend that it's a good thing that people are voluntarily choosing, that they're positively rejecting home ownership.
Right.
I think she's fibbing there.
Well, I think she's fooling herself. That's the problem with progressives, is that they will concoct these narratives in their head and tell it to themselves. It's not like she sits down with a message massager and says, "Oh, how do we deal with this? Nobody can afford a house, so how do we make it look like a positive?" She actually believes that it will make you freer. The same way that, I've given up trying to have meat. So I'm freer in my diet now. I don't have to worry about where my next beef is coming from. It's ludicrous. It really is. It's the end of the Canadian dream as brought to you by progressive elites who have so messed this up. I mean, there are two facts on this that I think bear keeping in mind. One is in their commentary on the federal budget, the Canadian Taxpayer Federation said that in the time the Liberals have been in power, it's not quite 9 years yet, 2015 until now, rents and mortgage payments in Canada have doubled. Now, whose income has doubled in that amount of time? No one's income has doubled. The economy hasn't doubled in size. So what you're looking at is housing eating more and more and more into the average family's budget. And that is seen in something from the Royal Bank that came out about 10 days ago, where they said in 2015, when the Liberals took over, it took 44% of the median Canadian income to afford a home. Now, that's still too steep. In the United States, it's about 37%. And in some places, even in Canada, it's below that. But it was, on average, about 37 in the States, 44 in Canada in 2015. Manageable, little hard, but manageable. Now in Canada, it's 63% of the median income in order to qualify for a home. So that's why you have both mom and dad working outside the house. That's why both of them may have second jobs as well. I mean, if you're just going to afford to get the kids into soccer and hockey, go on a short little vacation in the summertime, own a home, you have got to be out there earning well in excess of $100,000 in Canada. It is insane. And that's what Gondek is trying to justify. In a sunny way. I mean, this is Trudeau's old sunny ways. Well, what's the sunny way of describing how hard it is to buy a home in Canada? Well, you'll be free if you're you'll be freer. Think of that. It's like what was the motto over the concentration camps during the
Arbeit
Second World
macht
War?
frei. Work makes you free.
Hard work will make you free.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is a saying like that. Rentership will make you
Yeah.
free.
Rejecting owning a house will make you free. I don't think her statement was serious enough to warrant a serious rebuttal. But your comment about how much of a paycheck goes towards housing, it's true on both the mortgage side and the rental side.
Yes,
So
it is.
renting is expensive too. Renting does not set you free. It's extremely expensive. You just don't build up the equity. You're working for the landlord. And her
Okay.
idea, you go traveling. What does that mean? You pack up all your stuff, put it in storage? Like, what does it mean you can travel when you rent? Is she saying that you'll stop renting, put everything in long-term storage? Like, it doesn't even make any sense on its own terms.
You've spent so much money on rent. How can you afford to travel? That's the reality of it. This is a let them eat cake mentality.
And she has 2 homes in Calgary herself, according to disclosures that she's made as a politician. So maybe she should liberate herself from the burden of having 2 houses before telling the rest of us.
It's not just Gondek. I mean, I saw an announcement about 10 days ago where Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, was in Victoria to open a new apartment tower that had been built largely with federal loan money. About $100 million in federal loan money went into this place. And the cheapest apartment in it. Now, Freeland said, this is the way Canadians are going to live. So densely packed into high-rise towers, not owning, but living in an apartment in this tower. And the crazy thing about this is that she never even bothers to check what the heaven's name she's talking about. So this tower is called Hudson House. The cheapest apartment was $1,600 a month, which is 11% higher than the average apartment price in Victoria. So even with all this federal help, so you remember in the budget, $15 billion to build apartments. But even with all this money, this one in Victoria, the rent is higher than average. How is that going to deal with the housing affordability crisis? And that was for a suite. It's called a micro suite.
Oh my gosh.
330 square feet.
Oh my God.
We have a
330 square feet. We've got some video of that. Could I show some video of that? Here's Chrystia Freeland bragging about, it's sort of like if they were to brag about the ArriveCan app, which they spent, this government can't actually do anything. Here, let's just watch a minute of this propaganda reel that Chrystia Freeland put up about this extraordinary government-run apartment. Take a look.
I am so glad to be here in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, and I am here at Hudson House. You can see amazing views all around me. This is an apartment building that has 227 apartments for low and middle income Canadians. And it was built thanks to our apartment construction loan program. I am really, really glad that we have that program in place that has built great apartments like the ones here and is building more apartments for Canadians from coast to coast to coast.
There you go. You know what? The government that can't get your passports on time, the government, they really can run nothing. Chrystia Freeland herself, before she became an MP, was a disaster in the one business thing she tried her hand at, Reuters Next, which was like a high-tech project. It's shocking. It's gross. Do you think anyone's persuaded by it, Lorne?
No, I don't, because if you're a real family, you say you're a young family with a kid or two, and you're out looking for some place to live, you've outgrown the place that you're in, you run up against the reality of this all the time. Every time you go apartment or house shopping, you run up against a reality that contradicts what Jody Gondek and Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau say about all of this. You don't always run up against it if you happen to live in Taber, Alberta, or Antigonish, Nova Scotia, or some of the smaller communities around the country where housing affordability is still there for a lot of people, maybe even for most people. But if you're now in the 7, 8, 10 largest cities in Canada, it's becoming less and less affordable all the time because of government programs. Let's take a look at this $15 billion that the Liberals are going to give away to help apartment construction in the country. There is so much green garbage in it, so many regulations to benefit the environment, to create net zero housing, to create sustainable housing, that there is no way these units are going to cost less than the units that already exist, which means that the rents are going to have to be higher, which means you're going to drive the prices up, not down. It has nothing to do with affordability. It has to do with all of their woke dreams.